Today, virtual reality or VR is delivering what customers want, and it has the potential to revolutionize learning and development in the future. Well, especially in our favorite gaming industry. Just in 2021, Facebook's virtual reality company Oculus sold over 18 million headsets. So you might be wondering, what exactly is coming next? Watch this video until the very end to find out. As per Investopedia.com, augmented reality (AR) is an enhanced version of the real physical world that is achieved through the use of digital visual elements, sound, or other sensory stimuli delivered via technology. As opposed to the typical user's interface, computer-generated reality is supposed to offer users submersion-based experience. They are drawn into a 3D universe instead of spending time just staring at their computer screens. Nowadays, computer technologies make it possible to generate a whole bunch of sensory experiences: vision, hearing, touch, and even smell. It seems that closer or genuine VR experiences are being restricted only by the available processing power and, consequently, the user-targeted content. The advancements in both VR and AR are fascinating. In 2016, mobile-based VR headsets accounted for over 85% of all virtual reality headsets sold worldwide. The most popular mobile-based VR headsets were Google Daydream and Samsung Gear VR. And following the increasing deployment of VR, the technology has garnered worldwide attention. In 2019, VR saw another major increase in popularity, with more and more voices heard in support of such ideas that this technology could radically transform our social and professional lives. Therefore, several new companies have been attempting to enter the market to help VR become more widely adopted. Introduction of commercial VR headsets is predicted to boost the market growth, and investments from technical behemoths like Google are expected to result in advancements in display technologies. As heavyweight market players increase their research and development spendings, the market is expected to become much more competitive in the following years, with a projected value of $30 billion by 2026. VR has been employed in various fields over the years, including marketing, gaming, entertainment, and space missions, as well as immersive breaking news. Nevertheless, the concept of VR has roots that go way back into the past, into the times before the formal definitions and codifications of the term proper were even thought of. Let's have a brief look at the progress that has been made, as well as at those visionaries that helped pave the way for the VR we all seem to know today. Here is a brief but intriguing history of virtual reality. Arguably, it was Morton Heilig that pioneered virtual reality technology back in 1957. His Sanzarama multimedia device is regarded as one of the first VR systems, with a display screen for sight, oscillating fans for touch, gadgets that generated fragrances, and audio speakers for sound. The device stimulated all of the user's senses. Then, in 1961, two Philco Corporation engineers, Como and Bryan, produced the HeadSight, the first head-mounted display, or HMD. There were two screens for each eye and a magnetic tracking mechanism on display. It was the world's first motion tracking gadget. The HeadSight was largely used to move a remote camera, allowing users to look around without physically being there. In 1966, Thomas Furness, a tactical specialist, fostered the main pilot test program for the United States Air Force. This created a ton of interest in VR innovation and how it could be utilized for training purposes without putting the trainees at risk. In 1968, Ivan Sutherland, a Harvard teacher and PC researcher, created the principal VR/AR head-mounted device called the Sword of Damocles. The scary contraption was suspended from the roof and showed computer-generated illustrations that adjusted to the point of view as the user moved around. The Aspen movie map created by MIT in 1978, used images taken from an automobile in Aspen, Colorado, to provide viewers with a surrogate travel experience. It was a first-person interactive perspective of the metropolis, essentially an early version of Google's Street View. In 1982, the movie Tron popularized the concept of virtual reality. The characters there were engaged in a virtual setting that imitated a video game, and it was aimed at gamers. Meanwhile, Furness kept on working on his Air Force simulation project and eventually built the Visually Coupled Airborne Systems Simulator. The system provided pilots with a virtual picture that reduced the amount of data they were bombarded with at any given time. Eventually, computer-generated 3D maps, infrared and radar imagery led to the creation of the Super Cockpit program, which effectively helps pilots make better decisions faster. With their consoles, Sega aimed to offer a comparable gaming experience to households way back in 1991. The Sega VR headset accessory was never produced because developers were amusingly concerned that it was far too realistic and that users would get injured. In 1999, The Matrix arrived and generated colossal buzz, popularizing the idea of virtual reality with an even more comprehensive section of the general population. Then, in 2007, Google debuted the Street View alongside with Immersive Media, with pictures for 5 mapped cities. The panoramic photographs were taken with a patented camera mounted on a moving car to show users roads, buildings, and other details. By 2016, there had been hundreds of companies developing their own VR devices, many of which came with dynamic, binaural audios. Nevertheless, haptic interfaces, that is, systems enabling users to interact with a computer through bodily sensations and movements, were still far from perfect. The most important event in the history of VR took place in 2018, when at the Facebook F8 Developer Conference, the Half Dome, a headset with a 140-degree field of vision, was introduced by Oculus. As we have already mentioned, in 2021 alone, there were 18 million VR headsets sold, with mobile-based VR accounting for 98%. The market is dominated by a relatively inexpensive Google Cardboard. The following are some of the most well-known players in the VR market. Oculus. One of the most popular VR devices is the Oculus Rift. It was first released as a graduation project in 2012, with over 355,000 Oculus Rifts sold. In 2014, the VR company was purchased by Facebook. The headset's original purpose was to improve gaming experience, but the company is currently broadening its application to include corporate opportunities. According to Oculus, the technology is much more advanced and powerful today, and its adoption will significantly influence all of the existing industries. Google Daydream VR. Google Cardboard or Google Daydream VR has had the largest market share since its very inception, with dozens of millions of devices sold. As the name implies, the Cardboard VR was created as an experiment to allow people to have their own first experience of virtual reality. Samsung Gear VR. In September of 2014, Samsung teamed up with Oculus to create Samsung Gear VR. The goal of Gear VR was to create a more consumer-friendly technology that was light, wireless, and powered by Samsung smartphones. And in 2016, Samsung Gear VR managed to generate some $2 million in revenue for the company. Now let's have a brief look at the possible applications of VR as a technology. VR and artificial intelligence enhancement. Artificial intelligence, or AI, and virtual reality go hand in hand, and the two can transform the world. However, both are still very much in their infancy and have only made sporadic appearances. Instagram and Snapchat, for example, have features that already combine AI with virtual reality. Education and training. Education and training are becoming increasingly costly. As a result, companies worldwide have been striving to minimize their expenses, sometimes training their employees using VR. Walmart, for example, has employed 17,000 Oculus Go headgear units to train its customer support representatives. Tourism and travel. Users of VR headsets can now travel the world while staying at home. You may travel to any of your favorite spots without packing your bags. Moreover, VR allows you to taste something before you actually commit to purchasing it. And of course, gaming. It is pointless to deny that gaming is likely to be the very first thing an ordinary person would think about when thinking about the virtual reality's future. It is not unexpected, given how quickly the virtual reality game industry expands. COVID-19 has also influenced the current position of VR in gaming, since it keeps consumers at home, making them much more likely to engage in games, which is a benefit for the gaming industry. So where do we go from here? More and more new applications of VR are being developed, with billion-dollar tech companies very much aboard. Essentially, it means that VR is here to stay. Competition in the VR research and development will likely lead to the reduction of VR costs, which in its turn is crucial for attracting even more potential customers and slowly turning it into a part of our daily lives. And while it is true that VR at the moment is primarily associated with gaming industry, there are in fact endless opportunities for its possible applications. What to expect in the near future then? How can tech companies surprise us with new, mind-blowing tech in the next couple of years? The following seem to be the most concrete future VR-related predictions. First, AR and VR will come together to form a new type of experience, which might eventually make it possible for you and me to engage in advanced virtual social interactions. VR headsets will likely become increasingly slender and more light, resembling sunglasses. VR will likely make it possible for anyone to have real-life experiences at a fraction of the cost. And finally, VR development is an ongoing process, and we have high hopes for what the future holds for it.